Okay. Um, hmm, Let me know when you can see my screen and what you can see. Please let me know when you can see my screen and what you can see. Hello?
Subscriptions. I can see subscriptions.
Okay, thank you. So basically, for people who have not created a subscription, you need a subscription to create any resource in the cloud. To create a subscription, you can just search for Azure subscription trials, and you see enjoy free trials. Create your free account today, and you see try Azure for free. Obviously, I shouldn't be able to sign up for it because I just did one. So, but basically, you see, looks like you already have an Azure account. An Azure account is available to new users and limited to one per customer. Sign up for pay-as-you-go subscription. Use an existing subscription. So I'm just going to click on use an existing subscription. But for people that need to use Azure, sign up for trial, you can follow the steps to sign up for trial. Now, it's possible to have many subscriptions in Azure, but I've created one. In most organizations where they want to enable, what's it called? Administrative management of the resources and subscription, you probably have them having more than one subscription, maybe two. In fact, you can have some will even do it by a business group or maybe the wings of their technology team, basically. And some will even create it based on projects for them to be able to actually see what individual project is consuming. Now I'm going to click on the subscription, and you can see it here. There are so many things I can talk about around there, like the identity and access management, like the tags, like what is it called? But all of those are actually out of the scope of this course, so I'm not going to waste my time on that. So I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to go to resources. On resources, I can click on create, and I'm just going to search for virtual machine. A virtual machine is a VMware hosted either in the cloud or virtual machine, yeah. So either hosted in the cloud or on an hypervisor. So I'm just going to do virtual machine. Now you can see there are many virtual machine, but I'm going to go with this first one. And you see it's asking me to uh, click on create. So I'm going to click on create, and it's asking me for the subscription. I'm going to click on leave it on this subscription. That's the only subscription that I have. Sometimes you may want to organize resources into resource groups so that if you have multiple people managing different components of your Azure subscription, you may want to limit their access to resource group so that they can only, even though they have access to the subscriptions, they can only manage the subscription the resources that they have under their resource groups. Resource group is usually a collection of many resources. It can include maybe a virtual machine, a what's it called? It can be a virtual machine, it can be an SQL DB, it can be a network group, it can be a network group. Yeah, so normally I normally use resource group and just give it a name. So I can call this one. And no resource group is available, but I can create one and I can call this on CSMG demo. Okay, there's no supposed to be space. Yeah, so what's the virtual machine name? I can call it first VM, for instance. Location in organizations where you have data sovereignty, where they are particular about data sovereignty, or and where their services are hosted, you can always select it. I think in Europe, the only place available is South Africa North. But I think most organizations in Nigeria, I mean, most organizations in Africa are okay with citing their resources in Germany. So if you see West US, okay, just going to say, okay, West West of Europe is actually Germany. So I'm just going to select that. Availability zone, that's if you want redundancy. If your VM or there's an issue with the area where you have selected your, what is it called? If you want a copy of your infrastructure to be held in another location for redundancy, you can select availability zone. But for us to be able to maximize the credits that we have from Microsoft, I'm just going to say no infrastructure redundancy required. Trusted launch, what's it called? This is a security feature that checks the VM at startup. And now I ask you to what's it called? Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah, I asked you to select what's it called? Okay, I didn't ask you to select an OS. Basically, it defaults to Ubuntu. If you have selected Ubuntu, it's fine, but I always love to use 2019. I mean, I always love to use Windows, mostly because I've always been a fan of Windows.
Ayokumi,
Yep.
sorry, before you go on. If you have selected or if you have created one in Ubuntu, can you
Can you change it?
change the OS?
No, you can't change it.
So you have to delete the VM.
You have to delete and
And is there implication in terms of your credit or your finance?
there's no implication in terms
Okay,
of if you delete, you deleted.
all right.
Yeah. Um,
So Ayokumi, I think at this point,
yeah,
I also came across this. I think if you click on see all sizes,
yeah,
you said, oh, we should select either DC1, standard DC something or D1 or so. But
yeah,
if you click on all sizes, the
mm,
link below that menu,
yeah,
it will take you to where you can make that selection if that's what you're looking for.
yeah. I see it. What I'm trying to look at is also the cost implication of everything. So what I will say to people is the fact that if you are not sorry, uh I'm trying to go to my chat. So what I try to say is that if you are not using the virtual machine, always shut it down to minimize cost. I think Microsoft always give you 200 Azure credits. So if you leave it on, if you leave the virtual machine running, it would, what is it called? It would most likely, it will most likely eat up all of your resources. This is one SV3. And the reason why I've asked you to do this is because of the cost implication. If you look at this and this one, you see that the difference is actually in the vCPU, the number of processor that you have on the system. When you have one core, it's 101, and when you have 145, it is 140. I mean, when you use D2SV3, it is more like 34 pounds, $34 more.
My experience, Ayokumi,
Yeah,
I think mine was 80 something.
because you used what's it called?
Okay, Linux.
Linux, because you use
Okay,
Linux. Yeah.
okay.
Username, I'll just call it CSMG so that I don't forget. Password. Allow RDP. We're going to allow this for now. I'll just say review and create. Yeah. See, networking information is missing. Oh, okay. I thought I created, what's it called? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Image default 127 gig. So if anybody wants to increase, you can increase, but it goes into your I don't need SSD. I'm just going to use a standard SSD. Platform management key, and then networking. Yeah, it has created this by default, created the IP network management. Microsoft, yeah, you see, if you want to use Microsoft Defender for cloud, you can actually enable it while setting up the resource, if the resource supports it. Assign management is another thing. Login with Microsoft Entra ID, you can, but you have to go to the IAM and create a RBAC. Enable auto shutdown. I always love to do this. Just ask it to shut down 10 a.m. daily. That's 50. I mean, by 12 o'clock every day. I want it to, that's in the night, so 12 a.m. to shut down, and that's just to ensure that if I forget to shut it down, it can always shut itself down for me to save cost. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and click on create. Yeah, so it is done, and I can go ahead and click on create. So what did I? Oh, okay, I copied the wrong thing. So like a VM where, depending on you as you please, you can depending as you please, you can basically just either use vol up VM, or you can use Metasploitable to VM. I had a look at Metasploitable to also after the last conversation answer when suggested by Wally. So I'm going to use Metasploitable because I've not used it before. But vol up, and I believe it will probably have different vulnerability sets compared to the vol up. So I'll let individual actually choose whichever one they want to follow. But I believe it's going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on download. While this is downloading, okay, so that should be downloading. You see already that your deployment is complete. I can create another resource and I can go to the resource, but I'm going to go to the resource. I'm just going to click on connect. So I may have to share my full screen with you here for you to see it.
Sorry, hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm actually, I just want to take you back a little bit.
Yeah,
In the inbound port rules,
yeah.
are we to select none for the public inbound port route, or
You
to
can
allow
leave
select?
it at 3389.
Okay.
Now, the implication of this is open to the internet, right? That is why I'll be able to connect to it from my system. But that's not a good practice. You don't want what is it called? You don't want people to be able to access your resource admin ports from the internet. If the user accounts can be compromised, that means you've already given them access to your resource. So what Microsoft recommend is to use a Bastion. You see Bastion A. So if you deploy Bastion, it blocks 3, but you can, it did more like a Bastion network. It creates a VM network, which block external people from being able to connect to your service. So you have to come to the VM, and from the VM, initiate a Bastion connection. If you click on connect through a Bastion, basically, it just open it for you in what is it called? It just opened it for you. I don't want to initiate it now because it will prevent me from, it will create some rules that will prevent me from logging in remotely. But again, that's one of the idea is for us to actually do some things that are not good and then see how, what's it called? See how cloud, Defender for Cloud actually gives us a recommendation. So I'm going to leave it as is currently. And then, yeah. So leave it at the default 3389. Is that all right? Yeah, so basically when I click on connect, you see select or download RDP file. I've downloaded the RDP file and you can see it here. I'm just going to click on this RDP file. When I click on the RDP file, okay, I'm using Mac, so this is going to be different for you. I'm using Mac, so this is going to be different for you. If I click on, the downloaded file, and I just click on this, you see, it's captured the username and asking me to put in the password. So which I am doing. And after that, just a prompt about certificates. And you see, I could log on to the virtual VM, So most time, because the image is managed by Microsoft, when you sign up for a new device or a new solution, basically, it's just it's already patched and up to date. It's already patched and up to date, but going forward, you'll be responsible for.
Please, these are RGBs. I need only work virtually.
Sorry?
I need only work on virtual machine. I work on physical machine.
I can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
You are audible, but the sound is dispersed.
So I'm at the part.
If anybody hear what he said, you can help me reiterate.
Am I audible to anyone? Anyone here?
Hi, Osman. I think you can maybe chat your question. No, we can't hear you.
Okay, let me put it on the text.
Yeah, you can put it on the chat, actually. Yeah, so if you look at it, you see that what was it called? You see that you have updates installed, and even though we set it up today, which is 4th of 26, you see Microsoft saying that they installed some security updates on the 4th because they always service the image that they used to. They always service the image that they use to create the VMs. So it is patched up to date. Except maybe there is now a 0-day that has not been patched. We won't find too much on this, but I think we'll let Defender for Cloud to do that. So
I have a question.
Okay.
So far you have created a VM in the Azure subscription, and you have done remote connection using your RDP. So
yeah,
this RDP is the RDP that was created from Azure itself. Would for instance, if you give me this IP address and you give me the username, or if I know this username, am I able also to remotely do RDP into this system as is here now? That's my first question.
Yeah,
my second question, okay, I can. My second question is to find out how long does this Azure subscription last?
I think the Azure subscription should last a year. for trial, but you can consume only $200. So if you spend more than $200, you will have to pay for it.
Okay, so you're saying that if that $200 can be finished with even in 1 or 2 months.
You can finish it in less than 1 month.
How can you check your credits?
If you want to check your credits, you come to subscription.
Okay. Sorry if this is diversion. I just want to create some
sorry.
I think you can continue if this will be diverting the class. So you just go on and we'll come back to it later.
What's it called?
Hello, I think it's under your profile.
Sorry?
Okay, let me type it so that you.
It's under billing profile invoice. You see that it's
Yes.
showing at 0. And that's because we just set up. By 1 hour, we should already have incurred 0.16 something. Yeah, okay. I'll go back to okay, so I was able to log in. And like I said, Microsoft always patch the VM. Basically, we can install some of these KB as well to actually create a vulnerability. This one should be able to create a vulnerability for us since it's a security update. Yeah, okay. So I was downloading the Vol Up earlier, and sorry, I think I need to. Yeah, Metasploit. Yeah. Sorry, Wale, can we take maybe like 5 minutes break?
That's fine. I can post it.
Yeah, okay. So okay.
Are we back? Hello, Sayokumi.
Yeah, we're back.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. We're back.
Yeah, I just want to do something before I finally do my creation. It's saying popping something up. Said you have set RDP port open to the internet. It said this is only recommended for testing. If you want to change, so should I? Is that okay?
Yeah, leave it that way for now.
Okay, that's also I want to confirm before I go ahead to create the VM. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So I don't know, for different people, you may have downloaded different for different people, you may have downloaded different what's it called? You may have downloaded different images, maybe Metasploitable 2, or maybe Metasploitable. Yeah, maybe Metasploitable 2, or maybe Vol or VM. So I'm on Mac. That also limits what I can do, but I think I'm just going to show you. If you look at what's it called that we downloaded earlier, the Metasploitable that we downloaded, you'll see that I have VMX and VMXF. So people that are using Windows, that are using Windows, not Windows actually. Yeah, that are using Windows and have a Play Store. VMware workstation installed. They'll be able to just open it directly by right-clicking on this file and clicking open. But if I do this, because because I have Fusion installed, so it's seen it as a VMware Fusion file. So if I click on this to open, you see the virtual machine cannot be powered on because it requires x64 machine architecture. That's because I'm running this on a what's it called? Because I'm running this on a Mac M2 chip. So I'm just going to click OK and cancel. Then how do I open this? I can actually use VirtualBox to open a VMDK file. How do I do it? I can click on new. I'm just going to call it Metasploitable 2 because that's the name of the VM. And if I go to hardware, I'll say use an existing hardware and I'll browse to, what is it called? It's seeing Kali VDI because I already have Kali VDI on this machine, but I'm just going to I'll move this away from the screen for now so that you don't see my sensitive file. I'm just going to pause for a minute. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you look at it, under the Metasploitable 2 Linux that I downloaded, you see this VMDK. I'm just going to select it and I'm going to click on choose. And then I'm going to say finish. Can't overwrite folder. Coming Metasploitable 2. Okay, I think that folder part existed because I've done it before.
I don't know if I'm the one missing something.
Yeah.
Did you download VirtualBox?
Yes, I have VirtualBox already downloaded to my.
Okay, I didn't see when it was done. That was I'm
No,
asking that for the benefit of people that are so they know how to set it up, even though you have downloaded it, maybe launching it and creating their own or mounting the image, the Metasploitable image.
Okay, like I mentioned, I think I put it in the chat yesterday. You can download either Oracle VirtualBox or you can download what is it called? VMware Workstation, but I think VMware Workstation is no longer free. It is paid, and I'm not sure if they do trial.
There's a question in the chat around. I just remember that there was a question on Oracle. I will read it to you. So it said, do we have to use Azure VM or we are free to use others, say Oracle, for instance?
If you look at the, what is it called, supported by Microsoft, Microsoft supports management of VMs in GCP, in Google Cloud, in AWS, and in Azure. So if you are using any other cloud that is not supported, you'll not be able to use Defender for Cloud to manage them. So currently, they don't support Oracle. I hope that clarifies.
Someone, maybe she can confirm if she's fine.
Ruth, you can ignore the $200 credit remaining. I think I did mention it. Just ensure that you are shutting down the VM when you are not using it so that you don't have to pay for anything for the duration of this program. Yeah, that's correct, Bami. Yeah, I mean, yes, Emmanuel, Azure credit will start diminishing, but I think we're still within the first 1 hour. So we should be paying maybe $0.161, at least for me, based on the configuration I chose. Yeah, so you can put an eye on it, but again, when not in use, shut down. Kemi, I'm not clear as to what you mean by can we edit what we've done previously?
I
Why?
think I've clarified that, which
Okay.
it was a question I asked you when I said we didn't know we can use different OS, that I use Linux, and I asked if we can edit, and you said no, you have to delete and recreate. So I've cleared that one. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ayokumi, are you waiting for something?
Sorry, bedroom affairs. Uh, VMware Workstation is now free, Innocent. Well, I know that these people started. Are you sure? Okay. Maybe things has changed. What else? Yeah, okay. So, I think your assignment would be, okay, let me power up. I have downloaded, I have uploaded and you saw how I uploaded the Metasploitable 2 VM. To start the VM, I'll just click on start and it should try to run. Yeah,
Ayokumi, question.
yeah,
While this is running, or is it done?
it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Could I have mounted this Metasploitable on the VM you created in Azure
You can, but
instead
it's,
of mounting it on your own Mac?
yeah, it's going to be, what is it called? It's going to be, it will take a lot of work. Because before you can take any VM created outside of Azure into Azure, you need to do a migration for that VM. And we can be on that for the next 5 hours. So that was why that's one. Then two, because it's a vulnerable VM, if Microsoft see any suspicious connection that they feel like it can affect them, they can suspend the account. So it's okay to just create it on local system and then connect it using Azure Hack.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have the shell. Like I mentioned, I've never used Metasploitable before, so I'm not even sure of the commands. But I think we'll figure it out together.
I think I have some materials that I use when I facilitated CompTIA class I can share, but there's also a command of how to go about it somewhere on that Metasploitables page. But I will look for the resource that I have. Or okay,
Yeah.
one of them was here. Okay, he's not here today. Samuel. Someone,
idea
I'll ask him if you can share to everybody.
Yeah, the idea is not for us to actually exploit. The intent for us is to discover and try to find means to remediate. So I think we can still have it as a black box. But I love to have more information about it. Yeah. Okay, so we have set up a resource, and I think one thing we may also have to do is Azure Arc. For the Azure Arc, this is also going to generate what is it called? But I think this is going to be part of your assignment to actually use Azure Arc to onboard. I'm only going to demonstrate the what is it called? I'm only going to demonstrate the what is it called? I'm only going to demonstrate the cloud instance of it. So if I go ahead to and look for Microsoft Defender for cloud, just searching for this by default already give you some information. The first thing is you see Azure subscription that we have, which is 1, and how many resources are we currently accessing, which is 0. Attack path, we don't have any currently, and all of these I actually showed yesterday how to onboard. If you want to onboard, you see for the person that was asking about Oracle, you see you can onboard Microsoft Azure, you can onboard Amazon Web Service, you can onboard Google Cloud, but you don't have anything about Oracle Cloud, basically. So Oracle Cloud and maybe Alibaba Cloud and other non-popular cloud are not supported by Defender for Cloud. It only supports the major three cloud service provider. But if you have maybe Windows in Oracle Cloud, if you have Windows in Oracle Cloud, for instance, you might be able to bring it in using the Azure Arc. Other than what is it called? You can use it also to manage code repository, Azure DevOps, GitHub Labs, GitLab, Docker Hub, and JFrog for people that are using them. So since we're interested in what is it called? You see you can onboard, and then you can configure security contact for alerts, configure security policy, and explore built-in policy. Already by default, when you sign up for system, when you sign up systems, Microsoft gives you recommendation of what you should be doing. I didn't enable TP, Trusted Platform Security, because I want to minimize what is it called? Usage credits. It's telling me that it's a best practice to enable Azure Disk Encryption. I did not enable virtual machine scale sets. It's telling me to do that. It's telling me that subscription should have a contact address for security. I don't have contact address, and that's why it's telling me that someone needs to be responsible. And you can see different, I mean, this gives you the basic set of configuration, more like a recommendation on how to manage your I mean, it gives you the basic version of Microsoft Defender, gives you an overview of how to manage the account, how to manage what's it called, the security posture. But if you want to see detailed information about the attack paths and all, then and the risk, you then have to have what's it called, and then be able to assign it to owners. And for you to be able to assign it to owners, you see it's asking me to upgrade, which I can do. Which I can do. So I'll say try it now. Sorry. So you can see the, what's it called? Foundational CSPM, which is free. We have full. We have Defender CSPM, which is $5 per billable resources per month. I need to turn this on. And if I click on setting and monitoring, are you sure you want to disable agentless scanning for machine? For machine integration will prevent you from receiving all Defender. I'm not disabling any agentless scanning for machine. We don't have Kubernetes API access, but everything has been turned on. So basically, if all of these resources have any alerts, basically it picks it up. So yeah, this additional £5 for, I'm sorry, $5 for the resources that we've turned on. Yeah.
A question. So like I told you earlier, I started mine with a Linux. I have now a Windows, and for each of them is telling me this is a cost. I understand that I am still in trial mode. And you advise that if you are not using the resources, you should shut it down so that it doesn't continue to eat in your credit.
Yeah.
Now, given that we did not have the, we included our card or details.
Yeah.
And we did not have the privilege to either cancel billing for when, for instance, we exhaust that free credit.
Yeah.
How is it managed such that maybe you forgot,
Don't get billed,
and they don't go into your start billing you for it?
Yeah, well, it depends on the bank you use. What I always do, for me, anytime you set up a service, they tokenize your card for them to do collection later. What I always do, the banking service that I use allow me to go ahead and block certain vendors or certain services for being able to for my card. So this one, the best thing to do is keep monitoring. Every day you are starting up anything, first check your utilization first to be sure that you are still well within the credit limits. If you are out of the credit limits or you are about to move out of credit limit, maybe you're already at 197 or 198, the best thing is to suspend the subscription if you don't want to be charged. But for me, I allow being charged sometimes. I couldn't sign up for, I think, Defender for endpoints. So I had to buy one license, paying for my card, basically. So yes, it depends. So yeah, if you look at this overview, you see that we have one Azure subscription already onboarded, and then we have 4 resources being accessed. And basically, if you come to the resources, you see the resources that are being accessed. You see the subscription itself. You see the VM virtual network that is being used by this virtual machine, and you see the subnet. So anyone that you don't want to report, you can always remove it. But I think it always makes sense for you to actually leave it. So you can see resource health. It's saying that machine should have a vulnerability assessment solution. Azure backup should be enabled for virtual machine. This is preview. A guest configuration extension should be installed on machine. Virtual machine and virtual machine skill sets should have encryption at host level. Machine should be configured to periodically check for missing system updates. Windows virtual machine should enable Azure disk encryption. Management port should be closed. I was expecting to see this on your virtual machine, and all network ports should be restricted on network security group associated to your virtual machine. So if you deploy Bastion that I was saying earlier, that would automatically do this. But let's see what the recommendation is. You see that for each of the action, it's actually provide a recommendation. We recommend that you edit the inbound rules of some of your virtual machine to restrict access to specific ranges. To restrict access to your virtual machine, select a VM to restrict access to. In the network blade, click the network security group with, so it's giving you the step-by-step instruction on how to actually do this. Because a lot of people that want to use Bastion, a lot of them would also need to pay for that extra service. But what some people can adopt as a workaround is they actually just turn off the ports, and only when they need to use it that they actually turn the ports on. So this one is suggesting that you should turn off the ports, basically. But again, you can do that. Now, governance mechanism or access, one of the things you should also see is that you can set asset owner and due date. So you see now, if you want to assign to someone within Defender for Cloud itself, you can do that. And if you have ServiceNow accounts and you want it to log it as a request on your ServiceNow account for organization use ServiceNow, you can click on connect your ServiceNow instance, and then it will be able to log this if you want someone to look at it. Assignment details. Assignment details. One thing you should note, if you're using what is it called, ServiceNow, assignment details is not available to you. But if you are using Defender for Cloud, you can set the time frame for when this has to be remediated and apply grace period. So if you secure score, your secure score is not impacted. We've talked about secure score and what it does. So your secure score is not impacted until that date, and then you can set email notifications. Email notifications if you notify on our weekly, and more like a reminder. If you want to notify the owner's direct line manager as well of the tax, you can do that. And for the weekly notification, which day of the week that you want to do the notification, I think they said that email sent on Tuesday and Wednesday are often received and worked on faster than email sent on Monday or Friday. So I'll probably select Tuesday. And Defender for Cloud, grace period. Yeah, so that's now for the services, I mean for yeah, so basically currently we can only see the servers that we have I mean in the cloud. We can't see the individual servers that we have on our system within the VMs. How many people have created their VMs? If you have, you can raise up your hand. If you set up your VM, yeah, okay. It will be an Emmanuel root. Okay. Okay. So what I'll do, you need to bring your VM into through Azure Hack into you need to bring your VM through Azure Arc into yeah, you need to bring your Azure Hack. Sorry, you need to bring your VM through Azure Hack into what's it called? Uh into Azure, sorry. I think someone asked question about Oracle earlier, and I mentioned that Microsoft natively supports GCP, AWS, and Azure. For Oracle, I did mention that if you want to manage maybe other systems, if what you want to manage is an Arc-enabled service, maybe like a VM, a network or whatever, you can use Azure Arc as well to do the onboarding. And this actually gives you an overview of how Azure Arc actually work. The Azure Resource Manager, Azure Control Plane across cloud and edge via Azure Arc. So basically these damn parts basically can only be managed through Azure Arc. To download the Azure Arc, so I'll let you you see currently Azure Arc allows you to manage the following resources types hosted outside of Azure: servers and virtual machines. Manage Windows and Linux server, physical servers and virtual machines hosted outside of Azure. So meaning that you can, whether you install Windows or Linux, you can manage it outside of Azure. And whether you yeah, you can manage it if you have vCenter, and regardless of the virtual machine and where it is managed. If you also have some hypervisor, it's also able to manage resource or even what's it called? The increase resource capacity or reduce the resource capacity, as the case may be, on Azure Local or VMware Center for people that need it. I think Azure Local should be a new name for Hyper-V. I mean, I sense because Microsoft used Hyper-V previously. Okay, I think I'll come back to that later. So basically you can do this and you can see the key features. And now since we are what's it called? Yeah, so I'll send this link to you to guide you through the Azure Arc setup. So for you to be able to onboard the local machine into cloud and for you to be able to actually see the and for you to be able to see recommendations for your vulnerable machine as well in Azure. So I'll share the link with you that guides you on how to do it. And later today, I'll actually just send you the assignment brief so that you can work on it against Thursday. And like I mentioned, just as you have advised, while group C and D will be presenting, the expectation is that group B and A would also attempt the assignments. The learning is yours. The learning is yours, and when you attempt, the things you learn from the attempt will remain permanently with you. And again, like I mentioned, it's always good that you celebrate your win. Possibly, I'll say maybe 70% of you are not aware of the things that we discuss here, but now you know. So talk about it. Let people know what you know and what you are doing. And who knows if that will open up the next door for you. So I think that's it for today. And this is where we're going to stop.
Thank you, Komi. I think there are some questions and one or two questions. I will just stop the recording now.
Yeah.